overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de the Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up? Good morning. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Take care of all your imaging needs. Get you a good, clear path to some hopefully pain-free days or hopefully some solutions that will allow you to live a great life. And also, great crew over there, great doctors. Dr. Finn, Dr. Razdan has obviously had a big influence on me, so appreciate their support. Of Inside the Huddle, obviously a lot going on in Husker land with some recruits or portal guys, I guess you could call them secondary recruits, college football playoffs and what it means for Nebraska or what potentially it could mean. I think that the landscape of college football is changing right before you. I think it's obviously a one-off. I think the SEC is obviously always going to have the short corner coming into the last leg of a 400 just because of the preseason rankings and the perception out there, but I think this year proves that that is slowly but surely changing and what that could mean in the future. And then obviously I think NFL, you got the playoffs, and obviously had a couple great games yesterday. Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens that let you know they are a different team than before. So we'll dive into that, especially with the Chiefs on the bye week and what what could be on the docket for them in the future, who they possibly could play and what it mean for the Chiefs, and does it change your view of the Chiefs based on what the Ravens or the Texans or the Bills or whoever else, decides to move forward after this week. But more importantly, we'll dive into some Husker news. I mean, obviously, coming out of the portal, they've been wide receivers are us, defensive backs are us, rightfully so. A couple other players, but I think also, finally, Nebraska was able to get a offensive lineman commit, which is probably not along the same lines as years past. Obviously, Michael Mazuka, actually kind of around the same. And we'll talk about the comings and goings. So Elijah Pritchett, who's a former 5-star recruit, when you look at him, he started for 2 years, the better part of 2 years at Alabama. Had a decent year this year. Played better probably last year under Nick Saban. Then obviously have a new DeBoer, new coach, new system, and obviously it's a new culture. And so, but he's played well enough to where you probably want to pencil or pin him in and starting at right or left tackle.
He started 10 games still, right?
Yes, and what he plays here is probably based on if they're able to get Pete, the left tackle from New Mexico. That's I guess weighing his options, but I think Nebraska has a pretty good inside track on that. That'll solve your tackle problems. That'll make Dylan Raiola a lot more comfortable and happy going into 2025. But to get him, that means that you had a good sellable product. Obviously, with the NIL base, it's a lot of money. Nobody knows what the contract is, but ultimately, get a commitment from him is pretty big, because you had missed on a few, and there's some circumstances why you miss, right? Where the kid from Nevada, is probably closer to his home front going to Oregon. The big tackle from Washington State, the former coaching staff goes to Wake Forest. So you can see why Nebraska is able to or not able to get those guys. And so now you focus on Elijah Pritchett after, they lost to Michigan.
That's big. It's tough to find linemen in the portal too. Those are everyone wants one as soon as one. A good one, a quality lineman hits the portal.
They're more valuable. They're probably as valuable. I think. Well, I'm gonna say I think their linemen are more valuable than quarterbacks in the portal. Because here's why I think they're more valuable. And think about this before or I guess when you reply. There's less good linemen in the portal versus a plethora of quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, the top end guys, sure, but there's very few top end guys, period. Now, when you have linemen that have starting experience, played at big time colleges, have been productive, former probably 4 or 5-star recruits, or guys that have went lower level and then worked their way up, they're more valuable, because everybody's been saying it for the last 15 to 20 years. The offensive line play and the offensive line coaching has done what? Tanked. So when you have good linemen or I guess productive linemen, and they're at a position of need, particularly tackle, and I think center, they're more valuable, because could you guys in the quarterback? There's so many quarterbacks because of 7-on-7. It's almost flooding the market. So when you think of Carson Beck, obviously it's a big deal. I'm going from Georgia to Miami, and they're talking about his package, which is close to $4 million. It's the same amount that he's getting at Georgia. Now, majority of that money came from his agent, so that's probably Drew Rosenhaus. You're not doing that. You're pretty much just taking his NIL package and supplying it down there in Miami, and then Miami's just paying him the same base salary. So it's just to go and get a quarterback. Where you got to think is Van Dyke, right? Who was who went from Miami to Wisconsin. I think he's at SMU now. Whereas he's a quality quarterback if he's healthy. So to get a quality quarterback, I would say, is a little bit easier.
I see. Yeah, and I agree.
And a guy that's been productive, because a lot of quarterbacks play at different levels, and playing quarterback isn't as strenuous as it was back in the day, because they're not calling plays. They're not getting hit as much. A lot of the systems are easy to kind of marry from one school to the other, and it's not dependent on the level anymore. And that's just That's just my feeling. And so,
still more costly though if you mess up there.
Yes,
way more costly.
It is, and if you make that decision early, that means if you decide to go with the guy and he is absolutely horrible, then you got to push reset, and it sets you back a whole season because now once you get into about game 6, you're like,
it might set you back 2 years. Like a bad quarterback has potential to really derail a program for a little bit.
Yeah, when he's really, really bad.
Yeah,
really bad. And so, for Nebraska to be able to get a big offensive lineman, hopefully another one, and then allow the other guys to develop. If we are able to get Pete and then we have Pritchett, that doesn't mean that Gatula doesn't have a position to play. He has, in my opinion, I'm not a coach by any means, but he's athletic enough and has the strength. And if he has a good offseason, he could slide in there to guard. And play pretty well. That
Jenkins can move around too.
And Jenkins could probably be center. And then you got Latowski, and then you feel like, okay, as long as the continuity right, we got some pretty good, linemen. And then you let Bricks, who's a up and coming project. You got Sledge. Those guys get another year to mature and kind of provide the depth and get the reps. And that way, you're not throwing them out there too early when they aren't prepared, and they can keep their maturation process. Then, if they start to mature and play some this year, you won't have to go into the portal and be on pins and needles till you get a commitment or two from tackles. You got guys that are ready to reload versus rebuild. So
and I think we got an Akron Zips game. On this year. So hopefully that's the game where
where you
those
guys
get
some reps and
reps.
get some confidence and get some true evaluation process along there. So that's good for Nebraska. That's a big get. And like I said, offensive lineman. And it's also the thing about offensive linemen, you can't really tell whether they're good or not. You only know if they're really, really good, because you could be a guard and not be good, and nobody really knows. Because at the end of the day, what do they always blame sacks on? Tackles and the quarterback and the coaches. So, they have the offensive linemen are getting paid. So I'm sure a lot of the old school guys are really excited about that. But Nebraska's had a good week as far as getting commitments. It looks like right here. They got Marquise Cruz-Killebrew, a cornerback from Arizona that committed, has started, been productive. Obviously played, under a really good coach in Jed Fish. And then obviously this year played with Arizona, who had a decent year, not as good as the year prior because of loss of a head coach and coaching staff. But he's in the portal, and you got him. So another guy that can come in and compete. And that's what Jameer Khan he came from Southern Illinois. So 6 foot, 160 pounds. I think he's going to probably have to get in the weight room a little bit. I don't think he's 160, but that's what he looks at. And then you got we've had Marquise Watson-Trent, who probably is supplanted there in the middle of the defense. It gives you production, coming from Southern Alabama, isn't it?
Georgia Southern,
excuse me.
He was the guy that he lit it up versus us.
Yeah.
He played us.
Oh, yeah.
I think he had an
when you
unreal
watch
number
him,
of tackles.
maybe it took a little while because he's 5'11", don't matter. At this day and age, size doesn't how you play, and he plays a good leverage, good speed, a very, very productive player that provides leadership, in the middle of that defense with it, what you really, really want.
Yeah, this is it for him. He's got 1 year left, so he's going to be gunning,
Well, you're going to get the best. You're going to get the best version of him. It's a step up for him, but he's been productive no matter the competition. So you're looking for him to come in the opposite of Stephon Thompson, right? Where you think of the first thing with Stephon Thompson, that when he came in, Matt Rule at one point in time said he was out of shape. This kid's not going to come in out of shape. He's coming in motivated. He's coming in focused, and there's a need for him, and he's going to come in and take over. You got to look at his production alongside Shavers. Allows Dawson Merritt to come along at the speed that he needs to, the Christian Jones and all that. Then you have addition of McCullough or McDonough from Oklahoma, along with, like we just seen right here. We got a question here from the text line. Javin Wright coming back for his 7th year. So now a position I felt last year that didn't have depth, and then didn't have like yearly depth, where you have the starters, rotational players, up and coming guys. Now you really change that overnight. And now you're looking for guys that are still in the roster to step up, like a Dylan Rogers, to really get out of his own shell and really say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to provide value. So that's what you want. That's what you want. And that's what they've been able to do, is go out and attack positions of needs. And then also, let's not forget Andrew Marshall, punt returner, kick returner, and a corner. So you think with the losses even of Quentin Newsom 2 years ago, Tommy Hill you count him as a loss this year because he didn't play and didn't play well when he played.
Mm-hmm.
But then you had the emergence of Sierra Wright, who came in late, right? They said, okay, well, if we can get veteran corners that can cover and can compete, come in early, we'll find another Sierra Wright to go along with the real Sierra Wright. But then also, I think with the young guys that they have on the roster, I think they're just going to roll the ball out there in spring and in the off season, and everything's going to be competitive. And how you are off the field, how you're in the weight room, how you're in the classroom, how you're obviously on the football field, everything's a competition. So you'll see guys that, there'll be a guy or two that come in as a portal guy that might not make it and be in the portal again. That's not a bad thing. That means somebody along the lines has beat them out and stepped up, and that's what the new 105 brings, is constant competition, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, they were able to, obviously, you lose Malachi Coleman and Jalen Lloyd. Jalen Lloyd to Oklahoma State, and then Malachi Coleman to Minnesota, Isaiah McMorris to Missouri State, which is obviously a place where he's probably going to go and try to level up. But then you got Dane Key from a couple of weeks ago. You got Hunter, right, which is those are probably your two starters, and then now with Barney. And then you got Hardley Gilmore, the fourth, who comes from Kentucky as well, who's probably going to have to, compete, but the coach knows him, right? Or Coach Shorts knows him. And then you got another couple guys that are going to be sneaky here. You got a potential receiver coming in from the University of Houston that they know as well. And he hasn't committed, so I don't want to say that, but you got him. And then, so you've had some decently on the sneak, good recruits. You got Justin Rhett from the University of Georgia coming in, when you lose Deshaun Singleton and you lose Isaac Gifford, you got to replace those. And then you got to think, okay, where does that mean? Hartsock is going to probably move to a safety position where he had 4 touchdowns. And so they've been able to address some positions in need, and they're going to continue to do so. And that's also with, you want to wish guys like, Gabe Irvin, who's kind of battled injuries, the best of luck going to Kansas State. So Bill and Bennett has a question here. He says, how do you feel about Javin Wright coming back for 7th year? I think it's good. I think, all 7th year, all extended careers, we'll call that, aren't created equal. I think University of Miami had a tight end that played 9 years.
And he got there in 2016, and then he had 4 season,
right,
or not season, season-ending injuries in a row.
Injuries, and then he had COVID and stuff. So, his path is a little bit different. I do think he stayed about a year too long, but when you got to go through the run that they had this year, it probably was worth it. And he made some big plays. Now, I think with Javin, he's been here for 7 years, but he's had a couple years with some serious health issues that he's able to, first of all, it's a credit to him to even have the willingness and the heart to come back.
Yeah, those blood clots can be scary too.
Right, because that's lifelong.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so but he's came back. Then he had the shoulder injury, and I think he also had a lower extremity injury. So for him, if you go back to last year in the spring or whatever, he was making a lot of plays, and he pretty much was going to be one of the main guys. And then obviously it popped up again, but you got to give credit to the coaching staff in Nebraska to find a way to, play him some, not turn their back on him, but then I obviously allow him to continue his career. And I think he's going to be able to provide leadership from just the stick-to-itiveness that he's going to be able to, see it through. And so,
well, hopefully he has a healthy.
Well, if he has,
because he really was lighting it up. He wasn't starting in a lot of those games that 2 years ago,
right?
But he lit it up on the stats. Then this year, he wasn't quite, like, a little bit shaken off the rust, coming off an injury, and just he didn't have a whole lot of time to fully.
No, I mean, I don't think he was. I mean, with blood clots, obviously when Tommy Frazier had it, you have to really be very, very detailed and cautious in how and when you practice.
And then Chasing 3, they had an episode where they really locked in on it. And
right.
It's
You're
tough.
right. Just to get to practice is a deal. So I think for him, if he can get full off-season practice, he's gonna make impact. And so, for him, it's just a matter of he can stay healthy. So I'm really glad for him to be able to come back. I think for him, when you have a lot of transition, which it's going to be year in, it's going to not even be year in and year out. It's going to be portal season every single year.
Yeah.
So spring and summer and fall, there's going to be obviously transition. You need guys like Javin Wright around that, do the right things, can provide some leadership, even though he's not a maybe outward leader as far as where his words are, but when he speaks, people will listen. He's been around and seen the bad times, the lean times, and obviously the process of building up into a bowl team. And it's somebody that the coaches can lean on to look for some leadership and maybe, provide some leadership to the younger players, maybe that are struggling or waiting their time to play. And then also on the field, he gives you flexibility on third down. I think if he's healthy, you can expand his blitz package and ability to attack the quarterback. He allows you to cover, as far as on, nickel and dime defenses. He gives you position flexibility. And then also, I think if he steps up and becomes one of the true leaders on special teams, I think you'll get a great senior year for him. So I'm happy for him. So, that's the portal, man. I mean, it's a thing with Nebraska that they've done a really good job. I think they have a plan. They've been able to stick to it and be strategic about it. They're still out recruiting kids, I think, probably.
Yeah, we still got to get down to 105 too.
Yeah, that's
when does that?
I don't think they've really even said. But look, we worried about 85 last year.
Yeah, I don't.
And then out of the 105. Listen, people always worried about getting down to 105. Do you really think? I don't even know what Matt Rule makes and Sean Patton makes and whoever was Susan Elza and all those guys. Troy Dannon. You think they're going to go into the season? Say they have to be down to 105 August 1st. You think they're going to go there and there with like 130 guys? They're going to get the 105. So stop talking about it. When you think about it,
yeah.
Like you think that they're actually going to say, wave their hand and say, you know what? We're going to be one of the only teams or the only team or one of the only teams not to get 105. I'm going to raise my hand. Can you please fire me? Like, I understand it, how you get it, because you're going to have to get rid of some good players or players that have been around, or maybe some recruits that you just recruited last year or recruited this year and things don't work out right. I do understand that. But I don't understand, like, people worry about how we're going to get to 105. Easily cut players.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, listen, I've been cut at the NFL level, so I'm not saying this like with 100% callous, but let's not be stupid here, right? Like,
a lot of them are walk-ons that you're like, that's an easy one right there. Cause
or
that's
guys that just, guys that just come in and they're okay with being okay.
Yeah.
And they've kind of been riding on the gravy train and then they haven't maybe progressed. And there's a lot of guys that maybe you're like, man, I really liked high school. I really liked football in high school, but this Power 4 stuff, this commitment is not for me. And they're probably waiting to get that call. Or Nebraska might not have to have 105 guys on scholarship. You could just have 90 and then have 15 walk-ons. And then you can fudge with the numbers. I think the thing getting down to whatever the practice numbers are is, because I don't know if they're going to allow you to have 125 guys on the roster, but only 105 scholarships. Or maybe it's just 105 in general. So we'll see. I think I don't worry about that. I'm sure they got a board as big as this window with names up there. I've been in those war rooms, accidentally walked in. I talked to the GM. Was like, oh, at least I'm still in good standing. I didn't know that dude was gone. He just made some plays, but there, so it's a constant movement. So
I was just wondering when the deadline is. That just the
I don't think
first day of the
yet.
semester? No, we don't even know.
I think they'll announce it after the college football the national championship.
They haven't even announced it.
Yeah, and so I think after the national championship, within a week or two, you'll let you have your parade and you'll do the media tour and then
start cutting guys.
No, then they'll come up with like, oh, the Supreme Court just said it has to be 105 and you have to be at your 105 as you go into camp. But they knew that in October.
Right.
They have it all set up. They just haven't announced it yet. Harrison, I will say this. I'm going to say this quickly and lead into the next segment. I think the one thing that you're going to see moving forward, you don't have to tweet this out or anything like that, but I'm just telling everybody that's up early this morning and listening. And the last segment I'll tease in a little bit different time here moving forward is that I think you're going to start to see more teams from the North in the national title hunt. That means in the semifinals and in the college football playoffs. I think this bodes well for Nebraska. Now it's going to be based on how you do I'll call it holistic business. As I'm reading here from my notes, I'm saying that if you attack this right, which is the easy thing, NIL. If you attack this right from butts in the stands, which Nebraska does, social media and all that stuff, but where you're going to have to really make an impact is what you do coaching staff-wise, support staff-wise, analyst staff-wise, consultant staff-wise. If Nebraska moves in the right direction with the last two, analysts and consultants, which is kind of the same, right? Kind of like, i.e., the Warren Sapps, the Hines Wards, those guys. Nebraska will be back in the national title picture overnight. We'll take a quick break here a little bit early, and then come back. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the semifinal games and who I predict will win in the college football playoffs first national championship with 12 teams. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn. Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through January 14th is $2 off beef jerky, $2 off ready-to-eat meals, and 20% off all candy. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Abby with Midwest Bank. Stop by our new location at 70th and Pioneers. Our new full-service branch does it all. From our friendly staff to our easy online banking and mobile app, you get all the technology of a big bank that you need, but you still get the hometown customer service that you want. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
What up, Jay Foreman? Inside the Huddle brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Be on the lookout October 11th, 2025, Breast Cancer Awareness, second annual walk. I will be out there in the building, obviously participating and supporting Advanced Medical Imaging. And as they've done a lot of pre-screening, and then also they do a lot of support for not only Lincoln community, but the community of the state of Nebraska as far as breast cancer awareness. Make sure you put that on your calendar on your iPhones or Androids or whatever calendar you have. One thing on the calendar I talked about from the last segment to this segment is be on the lookout for more northern teams being in the college football playoffs or having an effect on the college football season. And the reason why is, I think, which bodes well for Nebraska, as long as you have to handle it right, is that with NIL or potentially with the 20 right this year, I think 20.5 million athletic department cap, with your NIL, just that part being somewhat above board, Harrison, that allows for parity. It allows for more competitiveness. Now, what it does on the flip side, it exposes you if you're not being competitive and you're not doing things the right way. So I think, and how does that affect more northern teams? It used to be the SEC, essentially, when NIL came apart. They've been doing that forever. They've been paying players big time money to go there.
They have.
Right. Like, so this is no new news for them. But then when the NIL, and it was a wild, wild west, well, now they were able to take it up to another level and just keep operating. But they didn't even have to hide anything. Because you remember a few years ago, Texas A&M had the #1 recruiting class, and they were saying that they paid, anywhere from $3 to $5 million just for the 1 year recruiting class. Now, some of them didn't work out, but everybody got paid. Now with everything, not with everything, but with more things being above board and with potential regulations coming down the pipe, a salary cap, some regulations, some sort of structure, it'll allow teams like Nebraska or any other teams that have good fan support and hopefully NIL collectives to be more competitive, especially if you're a football first school like Nebraska, being able to take a big chunk of that 20.5 million, that percentage wise. That means you're able to maybe pay some big time players to come here along with your collective, which then will take away from other schools, including like the likes of Ohio State and all that. So that's where you'll see some more northern teams, like you see this year. You see Penn State, you see Ohio State, you see obviously Notre Dame. Last year you saw the likes of Washington and obviously Michigan, obviously the national champion, and so forth and so on, was able to be more competitive. And so that's not just going to be money based. And I think sometimes people can be low hanging fruit or be lazy and think like, okay, if we just throw money at guys, no, guys are going to want to come here and be coached and develop and win. And they want to get paid. Now, whatever order that is,
that's for you to figure out.
That's for you to figure out. And it's not just maybe a money thing. It could be like where I shouldn't be telling these secrets, but Nebraska asked me, I'll tell them, it's like, say you have if I'm recruiting Harrison, just say you're coming from Minneapolis, and say you're coming from like North Minneapolis or whatever, and you always, grew up with, your uncle and your mom or whatever, your family structure is very, very important to you, and proximity. So not only do you need NIL for Harrison, the good thing that you might be able to do is provide, I call them things for his support group that go into what makes you more appealing or makes Nebraska more appealing versus going to Alabama.
You mean like tickets to the game and
tickets
like
to
ways
the game
for travel?
Maybe, okay, yeah. All that stuff is already there. That's a guarantee. I'm talking about, well, okay, let's just say, your uncle wants to get into, not most likely coming from Minnesota, not, but just say your uncle, you grew up on a ranch. Well, you can come down here and find a way to the things that you can make. You can supplant Harrison down here to be like this is his home based on it. Or maybe it's a job or a place to live or just close proximity. Maybe you can have him in Omaha versus not. Say there's some sort of, say you worked for Target in Minneapolis and there's a Target thing down here. You can,
use your connections.
Use your connections. And outside of, here's a check. That's number one, because what you can do is that what's his difference is that not only am I bringing Harrison in here, this is now you got to produce, and Harrison plays well. Well, then now I'm bringing, your uncle, your dad, your mom, your brother, and sister, all that, right? That might like school. Well, now all of a sudden Harrison if you start getting people in your DMs or you're getting people out here saying they're agents and you need to go in the portal, well, it's not only Harrison going in the portal, it's everybody else going in the portal. And everybody else going in the portal might not be as much invested in you holistically. That's the whole deal. And so if you can find different ways to attack different guys that way in specialty situations, then it's all great. Some guys that you just say, hey, I need a travel card so my parents can come to every game, my girlfriend, whatever it is, and all that. That's very easy. But the guys that you want, that you say, hey, listen, Harrison, you need a year or two to develop. We're going to take care of you, but we're going to take care of everybody else, because part of your development is your support group and you being here. So as we go along the path of Harrison or Jay Foreman, we're moving on track. So that's how you're able to still develop guys in this day and age of NIL. And I think with things being above board or somewhat above board, it allows teams like Nebraska to do so. And then also, like I mentioned before, the biggest thing is that when you look at Arizona State this year, I know for a fact that Georgia, because I know guys down there. I know for a fact that Ohio State, because I know guys there. I can't speak for Notre Dame, but I can speak for Notre Dame because of James Laurinaitis was there. He's at Ohio State now, and how they approached it, which helped Marcus Freeman make his transition. I'm just thinking about the college football teams. Penn State, I know as well. And I think I mentioned Colorado. And those are teams that really jump to the forefront. How you make up, I guess, on the field, like discrepancies is in your assistant coaches. So the assistant linebacker coach, the consultant, the analyst. And the reason why you do that, if you look at whether it's Warren Sapp, Hines Ward, Jonas Jennings, Brandon Short, Bobby Carpenter, I'm just naming all the big time schools, right? Like Sean Bryson, Terry Fair at Tennessee. These are guys I played with, right? Lester Towns was down at Alabama. I think since Saban left, he's gone. All these different guys, what they're able to do, and you see it a little bit with Marcus Freeman, is they're able to lessen the gap between the X's and O's. They're able to do things on a former player basis and I guess, peer basis, doesn't matter the age gap, to actually make the coaches by name better. So you have to win so much that you only can like, let's just take you 105, right? Say there's 10 linebackers in the room. You're the linebacker coach. You really only can worry about your top 5 or 6, right?
Yeah.
But those other 4, they have to be very, very good on practice squad. Then they also have to be developed, pushed, and mentored on your regular defense. So if you take even your top 6 and you take those down too, so now your last 6, and there's more than that, but your last 6, if you have 3 separate people, assistant coach, consultant, and analyst, able to take 2 each. Therefore, when you go through rash of injuries, it's just plug and play. And then it's like they can teach them the nuances. Hines Ward has coached before, right?
Yeah.
But the things that he's providing to them is past experience, knowledge of the game, and then obviously the intricacies of how to play receiver. And and you saw, and what you had a all pack or all Big 12 wide receiver. The guy that was the guy that was hurt. He had the shades on. The guy that had to step up, he had 800 yards. And then you saw the escalation in their pass game with a pretty much non-starter and Levitt coming in from Michigan State. All 3 receivers are very productive. That's how you really fast track it. That's how you take a Dillingham and all that, where his energy is going down there, and then they're able to really elevate it. That's why you look at Colorado and Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp, obviously probably him and Damian Lewis and then Phil Lodeholt, and probably had the biggest influence on their season. And that's including Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders. Why? Because they got better across both lines. They weren't immensely talented. They were just better. The standard was different. You've seen it in their little videos, but you also seen it in their productions. You got a guy you got 2 defensive ends. They're probably going to get drafted, a defensive tackle that's going to get drafted next year. And Phil Lodeholt just got a big time job at Mississippi State. And their assistant defensive line coach is the defensive line coach at Mississippi State now. So that's going to hurt Colorado, and then obviously moving forward, but that lets you know the influence that they've had on the season. So if you can do all those things along with the bells and whistles and everything kind of, the playing field is starting to level. And then that way, if they tamper with you, you can still say, okay, well, you tampered and you left, but I still got Jay Foreman Harrison in my back pocket. Then you'll be more competitive.
That's why I'm really excited about Terry Bradden. I know he's position coach.
Yeah.
But he was the defensive line coach up there with the Chiefs for
I think
4 years.
Yeah. And on the field 4 years.
Yeah.
And they're 8 years.
8
So
years total.
what he's able to do is he's able to bring a professional type of mentality and scheme, and obviously learn on Steve Spagnuolo. You're exposed to the best of the best.
I'm like
from a defensive line
liking
standpoint.
that connection to that tree a lot.
Right.
I'm really hoping to see some of the fruits
along
here
with
at
Butler.
Nebraska.
Along with Butler. And so, with Coach Rule talking about getting better on third down, how do you get better? Up front, right? And schematic wise in the back end. Also at the pro level, him being the assistant defensive line coach, he's had to do exactly what I just said. You have to be able to get more out of guys that aren't Chris Jones or James Collar or George Kalafis. Those are because the Whartons, the Jay Foremans or whatever, those are the guys that are going to win you championships. Or not, obviously Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, but the depth, when you add depth, he's going to be able to say, okay, against this type of quarterback, this type of line, these are the type of stunts that I want to run because I know it works. And it works at the highest level. So
you always need that depth. You always just need,
experience
outside
thing,
of your superstars.
Look,
you're Jeff Green to hit that corner 3 late in the game.
Right.
you're going to need those players.
But you need experience because you got to have a guy that knows exactly what like for me, I could maybe scheme up some going up against Lachey, the tight end from Iowa, versus Loveland from
Warren
Michigan.
for Penn State.
Yeah, or Lauren, or Warren, or
it'd be a nightmare to scheme against. I don't know what you do against them.
Well, you have to cover him up and not cover him up. You can't show him the same look. So here's what you got to look at as a tight end. The tight end right now is the equivalent of having a good outside pass rusher. How do you slow an outside pass rusher? Motion shifts, right? Changing up coverages, changing up body types. Same thing you do with a tight end. But that comes from experience, but then also it comes from both good and bad experience. Getting done up and going against Antonio Gates versus Marcus Pollard versus Tony Gonzalez gives you a lot of experience that has nothing to do with X's and O's. This is real life experience. So that's what you're able to do. Got a couple more minutes just shortly on the college football playoffs. Obviously, it could have been an all Big Ten championship game. I felt like Penn State is the better talented team, just player to player. I obviously at this point in season, guys are dinged up, but I think Notre Dame has had a little bit more edge to them. I think Penn State had a chance to really blow the game wide open.
They look like they tried a big brother.
Well, they were beating them up now. I mean, Notre Dame ain't stopped the run.
No.
But Penn State was up 10-0. And then they kind of took the foot off the gas, and then they allowed Notre Dame to go the length of the field with their backup quarterback and get 3 points, and then also getting it out of halftime. So now the momentum, even though you're still up, is all on Notre Dame side. You tied the game up. Now you're in a dogfight. And I'm going to be honest with you, Drew Aller, and this is the hard part, people were saying if he was able to get through this game and get to the national championship game and play well, he was going to leave. He's not ready to play. And that's where you run into. We talked about quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, I just talked to the morning. We're trying to figure out the ceiling on Aller before this game.
You're seeing it right now.
Yeah, now
he
ran into it.
He was going to be a guy that somebody was going to be dumb enough at the NFL to draft him in the first round, and you get out there and you can't play dead. He needs to play 2 more years of college football.
We even saw that in the very first game versus SMU. That offense wasn't doing anything for Penn State. And the defense, I think, had 14.
It was 2 years ago against Ohio State. It was this year against Ohio State. And that doesn't mean he can't develop it. It just, even though he's immensely talented,
he's just not there yet.
He's just not there yet. And quarterback is a hard position to get there. And I think the best thing, and also let's not forget, Penn State and their fans were willing to run Clifford out of town because of this dude. And then Clifford stepped his game up. And Clifford's in the NFL, but he's the backup. Drew Aller right now, for me, I would not draft him very high. That is next year I may, because I think he will use it. But then also as an offensive coordinator, when you see your quarterback struggling, you can run some stop routes. I mean, for you to go a whole game without a reception by a receiver, that's not just all on Drew Aller. It's on the play caller as well.
Yeah, and it's tough too because it's especially for him. Like, you got one of the cleanest pockets in college football too, so you can't even use that.
And you were running the ball too,
yeah.
and so now I think you could tell right away. You could look in his body language. He was kind of like Sam Darnold. Listen, Sam Darnold the same way. What he did up in Detroit, Russell Wilson yesterday, you scared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you just off. And it happens to everybody. But Drew Aller did not play well. Penn State didn't finish. James Franklin's got a lot of regret. But I think the biggest thing that James Franklin can do is not be impulsive and get another offensive coordinator in there. I think they made progress. Probably not what they wanted. But I think you can do it with sticking with Drew Aller. You bring one of the big-time running backs back, and you get a little bit better across the offensive line and replace it. I think they do have number 16 is a pretty good tight end, for next year. And then they got to get, replacement for Abdul Carter. But I think Penn State is right on the cusp of catching Michigan and/or Ohio State.
I don't know. I think that they're exactly where they've always been. The playoffs are just expanded now.
Yeah, and
nothing's changed.
Yeah,
they've always been there.
They've always been good. They're a half a step, like a shuffle.
Okay, so
yeah, they're a shuffle.
Okay,
they're a shuffle, but this is the first year things have worked out for them. But
thanks to the new playoff format.
Thanks to the new playoffs, and thanks to Ohio State figuring out a way to lose a game that they shouldn't lose to Michigan. So And then obviously, I felt like they showed some explosiveness against Oregon, obviously against Boise. But I think when you get in big games, and I think Drew Aller, when he was running plays, he was like, I can't throw interceptions. Well, you ain't throwing no completions either. So anyways, but it's going to be Notre Dame against Ohio State. Real quick, I think Ohio State's going to beat them, not easily, but I think pretty handily. But I think it'll be a good game. I'll expand out a little bit after the break, and then kind of give some upcoming news on Inside the Huddle. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today. Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through January 14th is $2 off beef jerky, $2 off ready-to-eat meals, and 20% off all candy. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Since discovering Limitless Mail, thousands of men have changed their lives. They've experienced more energy, sharper thinking, fat loss, muscle gain, and a boost in sex appeal. Men are loving life again, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. Wives, kids, even coworkers are seeing the difference. Limitless Mail is a guy changer. We provide custom treatment plans to ensure both safety and maximum benefits. Don't settle for cookie-cutter solutions. Limitless Mail is the powerhouse in men's health. Schedule your free consult.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Fear's Cheese Spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Fear's Cheese Spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fear's Cheese Spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100 and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. They will take care of all your imaging needs and then also give you a clear and concise path to hopefully some pain-free relief and then also some knowledge of your ailments. We got Magic here texting in. He said, okay, guys, I know football pays the bills, but other sports allow you to have water. The number 6 wrestling team just beat the number 4 Minnesota Golden Gophers last night.
Right.
Some short of 10-2 would be awesome. Yeah, Mark Manning and those guys. Mark Manning quietly has got a national powerhouse, has had it for quite some time.
I think they won 21-13 too.
Yeah.
It was dominant.
Yeah, and that in Minnesota is a wrestling state and does a really good job. All Big Ten is tough, and so no, we definitely aren't glossing over what he's doing. But obviously, when you're thinking about college football playoffs and the money that goes into it, and they all goes together. I think one of the things that people don't understand is that when we were winning national championships, that was the standard across the board. The women's basketball team was good, going to the tournament. Boys as well. Volleyball team was winning national championships. Gymnastics, men and women's track, wrestling, all of them were national.
Wasn't track really dominant around that time?
Yeah,
for
both
the Huskers?
and men and women have a ton of Olympians. Same with wrestling as well.
When did Jordan Burrow?
That
wasn't
me. Yeah,
that was after.
Yeah,
right?
But I'm just saying now you're starting to see every sport start to be up to standard. And so wrestling is no different. They do have Takedown Tuesdays with somebody from the wrestling organization coming in and talking to DP. So make sure you tune in for that. Bruce in Kansas says, good morning, Jay. Enjoying some coffee here in Colby, Kansas. Appreciate you listening in, Bruce. And then also, as I mentioned before, be on the lookout, at least from Inside the Huddle, some program changing and times. Will be some still on Sundays, but be pre-recorded, but live and pre-recorded. Most likely will be on a Monday moving forward. So make sure you check the social media, I guess, of the ticket and listen in actually from 6 to 8, 9 p.m. every day. And you will hear little nuggets, not only from myself, but from the other great people that are on the ticket. But this is Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We'll holler at you next week.